transit, public good.
Fund it, fix it like we should.
Public transit, public good.
Fund it, fix it like we should.
Public transit, public good.
Fund it, fix it like we should.
All right, I think we're ready to get going. Our first speaker today is going to be Senator Ron Villalobos.
Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Do we have some labor advocates in the house? Do we have some environmental advocates in the house? And I know everybody can cheer for this. Do we have some transit advocates in the house today? I know it's hot. I know we got moved, but we're here for a purpose. We are here to make sure we fund a world-class public transit system. We fix a world-class public transit system that is safe, reliable, accessible, and integrated for all, not only the million people that use it every day in this system, but even more than that once we are done with this process. I am so proud to stand here in solidarity with hundreds of people here today to stand and say, we need to get this done. I am so proud that the Senate passed House Bill 3438, a historic package of reforms and a transformational investment of $1.5 billion in our public transit system across the state. Can I get an amen for that? Yeah. This legislation is historic because we are changing the status quo of the last 4 decades, where we've had 4 agencies, 21 appointing authorities, 47 different appointees, where everyone was accountable and no one is accountable. What we've done with this legislation is create the Office of Public Safety to address our safety challenges, to ensure that we have a transit ambassador program to help all of our riders and residents have the best seamless user experience they can. We've made sure that we've taken incredible strides to increase accountability, strengthening the OEIG, and creating an internal auditor, making sure that this is a system that's transparent and accountable to taxpayers. I'm so proud of those reforms. Every voice across our region is included in that reforms. And I want to say about the funding, this is historic. We started this process with the CMAP committing to convening stakeholders, issuing a report, having legislation introduced, 8 Senate Transportation Committee hearings. All along, the number that was focused on was the cliff, 771 million. CMAP advocates from both coalitions stated from the beginning, if we want to see the transformational investment in our system so we can get from neighborhood to neighborhood and suburb to suburb for the next several decades, protect jobs, avoid cuts, we need $1.5 billion. And guess what? We delivered on that with House Bill 3438. Not just for Chicago, not just for suburban Cook, not just for the Collier counties, but for the 54 downstate transit agencies serving the other 95 counties in our state. So I am so proud of the historic steps that we've taken in this legislation. As was said earlier, we need to fix it, we need to fund it. That's what that legislation represents. We're going to continue to work on it and get this done. And I can't do this alone. I am so proud to stand behind the thousands of people that have come to Springfield, many of them here today, to advocate for this because they know what's at stake for our economy, for our environment. But let me tell you, when we're on the Senate floor, I need allies there on the floor as well. And I can tell you, one of the best allies I've had through this entire process is my colleague from the Northwest side as well. We're both from the Northwest side, Senator Graciela Guzman. Please join me in welcoming her.
Hi, everyone. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It is a pleasure to be here with you all. I'm State Senator Graciela Guzman. I proudly represent Illinois' 20th District, which includes parts of Albany Park, Belmont-Cragen, Logan Square, Avondale, and the stat that I love the most, 7 train stops across the brown and the blue line. It's an honor to be here with advocates because, as Senator Villalobos stated, I'm the newest member in the Assembly, but I'm not brand new. Because what I do know about the tradition of organizing here is that when we center the voices of folks that are impacted, we win. And in this room today, who do we have? We have labor standing strong. We have transit standing strong. We have environmentalists standing strong. Because we know the coalition of those three things has to come together to not only produce the world-class transit system that we deserve and that we need in the city, but one that ensures that every single person across Chicago, across the state of Illinois, has access to a dignified way to get around the world, to get around the city, to get around the state. And so what I want to remind you, I've gotten thousands of emails, thanks to all of you, since January on this matter. People that remind me, I cannot get to work, Graciela, if we don't fund transit. Parents that say, how will my kid get to school, Graciela, if we don't fund transit? People that say, I don't know if I can live in my neighborhood if I'm not near transit anymore, Graciela. Folks that work, that literally make our transit system run, that say, well, I have a job if we don't fund transit today, Graciela. We have an imperative to do this now. And I just want to say thank you for the movement, everything that you all have done to get us to this moment. We know that as an assembly, we have to act on transit. And we have to act sooner than October, as we've heard from a lot of our peers. And so for many of us, that looks like the conversations that we're having now. It continues the negotiating work that we're doing. It continues to be the fortifying work that you're doing in the community, because I'm here to announce this is a hot transit summer. Hot transit summer. So we got a job, you all got a job, and I'm going to remind us of that. Y porque veo el micrófono en español, soy la senadora estatal Graciela Guzmán, aquí con orgullo, con las personas que están abogando por un sistema mundial que merecemos, que pueda hacer el transporte aquí en el estado de Illinois. Continuaremos trabajando en el Senado, en la Asamblea, para poder llevar esa promesa a realidad. Gracias. And with that, I'm supposed to introduce someone very special, Tiffany Reb. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are here today with great hopes in our hearts on today. We're looking forward to this bill being passed so that we can continue on with our jobs, with our duty for the city. We're standing here today just grateful for another day. We are concerned and worried about what will transpire, about what will our future be if things don't go the way that they need to. So today we just want to just be thankful for it, and we want to think of the positive that comes along with it, with all of our spokespeople that are here today. So we're grateful today. We're worried, but we're grateful because they're showing us that they're standing up for us. They're working with us. They're hearing our voices as we speak about the matter. So today, I'm just saying thank you again. We're appreciative. We're going to keep fighting until we get this passed. We're all going to stand together in this and, just keep pushing forward. So today we just say thank you again, and let's keep fighting. Let's get this done.
Thanks, Tiffany. Next we have Orlando Rojas.
Good afternoon, everybody. As stated previously, we're calling on the Illinois General Assembly to call a special session, return to Springfield, and find a solution to the public transit cliff. Chicago is known for many things, like Michigan, our sports teams, great pizza. I mean, I could go on, but unfortunately, traffic gridlock is also one of them. We rank at or near the top in traffic congestion, not just in the nation, but in the world. The only thing worse than rush hour traffic on any one of our area expressways is not having them at all, or having them shut down lanes on any one of those expressways. So now imagine a scenario that because we couldn't fully fund the maintenance for an area expressway, we had to shut them down and restrict them to just 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. Not just one major expressway, but the entire interstate highway system throughout the region. Right? You would have complete chaos. That's right. We now find ourselves in a similar situation as we head towards the edge of the fiscal cliff facing mass transit in the area. It would result in cuts to service of up to 40% across all agencies and reduction of about 3,000 employees. If people can't take mass transit, they're going to be forced to take the roadways, which would have the same effect as shutting down lanes we currently have on those roadways. And those who can't afford a car or aren't able to drive will be forced to use ride shares, taxis, or other forms of alternate transportation, again, adding more traffic to our roads. It would be disastrous. Disastrous for the people that currently depend and use mass transit. It would be disastrous for the area's economy. It would be disastrous for the environment. and it would be disastrous for the quality of life of those in the entire region, if not the state. I also want to highlight the impact it would have, and has already begun to have, on my fellow brothers and sisters in labor. Now, it has been suggested by some that this matter can be taken up in the fall veto session in October. Here's the rub. Pink slips for those cuts begin to go out in September. Workers are anxious, not knowing whether they'll be employed by Christmas, already has some scaling back or looking for other employment. How do we commit to getting braces for a child that needs them if we don't know if we'll have a job? How do we sign our kids up for extracurricular activities? How do we try to send our kids to college to make their dreams a reality and commit to helping them without helping them out financially if we don't know if we'll have a job?
That's right.
Many have already scaled back, postponed, or even canceled family trips, major purchases that they need, like vehicles, even getting married, because they don't know if they'll have a job. These are the same workers that were deemed essential during the
That's right.
COVID-19 pandemic
That's
that
right.
triggered this fiscal cliff. Essential. The same workers that provided transportation to other essential workers
That's right.
and the most vulnerable in our region. The same workers that were told, lace up your boots, get out there and perform,
That's right.
because people are relying on you.
We did.
Those same workers are now being told to wait until the fall veto session in October, with no guarantee that there will be a funding solution, even in October, and knowing that pink slips come out in September. We are calling on our elected officials to do the right thing. Not the easy thing, but the right thing.
That's right.
We are asking them to call a special session to fix and fund transit before it's too late. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? All right. Hi everybody, my name is Evan. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois, which is one of the Collier County suburbs out west. And I'm here with the People's Lobby, which is a part, which is part of the Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition. And I'm here today, like the rest of you, because I deeply, deeply care about not just keeping transit here past the current fiscal cliff that's coming up, but reforming it, fully funding it, and making it serve the working people of Illinois better than ever before. Yeah. For me personally, one of my big stories with transit comes from about 8 years ago. I was diagnosed with a bone tumor. That's called Ewing sarcoma. It's a rare tumor, and the best treatment program for it was in Northwestern Hospital in Chicago. And to make matters worse, at the same time, my mom had her own health crisis. And I didn't have access to the family car, and my dad, most of the time, couldn't afford to drive me down to the hospital. So what did I do? I walked down to the train station and then took the train down to Ogilvie. But I had never had any real experience outside of Metro before. And when I was faced with the daunting task of having to plan the bus route and adapting to a new fare system and worrying about whether that would make me late, whether I get lost and miss my appointment, I decided it would be just easier to walk.
That ain't right.
No, it is not. And so what did I do? I walked 40 minutes from Ogilvie Transportation Center to Northwestern Hospital, sometimes as much as 5 days a week, on chemo, on radiation, in a Chicago winter. And to top it all off, when I did the same thing to get back from the hospital to Ogilvie, sometimes I would have to wait for like an hour, 50 minutes, 40 minutes, because the Metro trains on my route only run once an hour, if that. You know, sometimes on the weekends they don't even run that. It was a great experience, not just in exhaustion and perseverance, but in understanding that, you know, Chicagoland area has some great transit bones. We need to keep that, and we need to preserve that, but there's so much that we fall short on. Clearly, you know, having access to public transportation, taking public transportation is not as easy as driving a car. You know, because if some people are deciding that it's easier to just walk for miles rather than take the bus, if they're waiting for up to an hour for a train to take them back home after chemotherapy. Clearly, there's a lot of work we have to do to reform transit in this state. Making public transportation more consistent, more affordable, easier to use, more accessible, and covering a broader area isn't just a pet project for me. It's a vital part of my life, and it's a vital part of many other people's lives. I don't want to have to hear about people waiting 30 minutes for the bus or the train, or walking 30 minutes just to get to the station, just because, our current system doesn't work for us, especially if you have some sort of health crisis. Everyone deserves reliable, efficient, and accessible transit. Absolutely. And right now, the RTA, as we've said, is facing a fiscal cliff. And if it goes careening over that cliff, there's going to be massive cuts across the board, city and suburb, both. People aren't going to be able to make it to their jobs, to the hospitals, to the grocery store. They're not going to be able to see their friends. And that's why we can't wait for the October veto session. We need our state legislators to come down to Springfield now to pass legislation to fix and fund our transit system, to win equitable funding, and to reform it so that we have a transit system that doesn't just make it past the current crisis, but sustains us far into the future. That's right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you. And let's hear it one more time for Evan. All right, he reminded us why we're here. This is for workers, riders, and all the people that depend on transit.
That's right.
But we need Springfield to act. So I got another chant for you guys. You're going to repeat after me. I'm going to say, Springfield, Springfield, we need you now. You say, pass the bill, save our jobs. Springfield, Springfield, we need you now.
Pass the bill, save our jobs.
Springfield, Springfield, we need you now.
Pass the bill, save our jobs.
Springfield, Springfield, we need you now.
Pass the bill, save our jobs.
All right, way to go, guys. All right, and next up we have a worker that relies on transit to get to and from her job all hours of the day, all days of the week. We have Anne Marie Moore, a flight attendant, up next. Anne Marie.
Hi there, thank you for having me here today. I am a flight attendant. I fly out of Midway Airport. I'm also a proud union member, Transport Workers Union Local 556. I do not have the typical 9-to-5 job. I work early in the morning, I work late at night, I work weekends, holidays, you name it, I'm on those planes. And the primary way I get there is on the Orange Line. If these cuts were to happen, it would be detrimental to so many people.
Right.
It really, really would. I moved here in my late 20s because of the transit system in this city. You do not need a car. You can get from one point of the city to the other point of the city without a car, on the bus, on the trains. And I'm happy to be here, but we cannot have these cuts happen. If these cuts were to happen, myself and my fellow colleagues, who are also proud union members, will have a difficult time making it to work. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anne Marie. Up next, we have Jose Manuel Almanza from Equicity. Let's hear it for Jose.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Jose Manuel Almanza, Director of Advocacy at Equiticity. I'm a longtime public transit rider from the West Side, and I ride buses and trains across this city, just like so many others in our neighborhoods who depend on transit not by choice, but by necessity. Equiticity is a founding member of the Transportation Equity Network, a coalition of community-based organizations working on the south and west sides of Chicago to advance transportation justice. We believe mobility justice is a racial equity issue, and what we do next with our transit system will either move us closer to justice or further into crisis. On May 29th, we co-hosted a public transit town hall in McKinley Park that focused on the Western Avenue corridor. People from all over came, from La Villita, Bryant Park, Pilsen, Rogers Park, Wicker Park, and representing many different parts of the ward that sit along Western Avenue. And we gathered to talk about our experiences, our dreams for public transit. And what we heard wasn't just frustration. It was vision. It was hope. It was believing what transit could be. One writer said, quote, "I want to be freed by the system, not trapped by it."
Yeah.
Another said, "They have to take 3 buses just to get to work." We heard from teachers who shared how unsafe it feels for students to wait at exposed bus stops. People described dangerous crossings on Western, ghost buses, long waits, and fear of being stranded at night far away from home. But we also heard bold ideas. Writers called for dedicated lanes, better shelters, sidewalks with trees, vertical gardens at bus stops. People imagine a system that connects neighborhoods, not just to downtown, but to each other. And one thing was crystal clear. People want this. People are ready. And then, just 2 days later, we learned the public transit funding bill failed to pass. That was a hit like a gut punch. That excitement we felt, that energy, crushed. This failure didn't just kill a bill, it deepened apathy. It confirmed for some what they've always feared, that our communities, our time, our lives don't matter to those in power. But that's why we're here today. Because we know what's possible if we win. We know what we lose if we don't.
Right.
This isn't just about buses and trains. It's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about whether someone can get to their doctor's appointment, pick up their kid from school on time, make it to class without fear or delay. If lawmakers return to Springfield and do the right thing, if they pass a $1.5 billion investment in public transit, we can build something worthy of our community's dream. A system where buses show up, where Metro and CTA connect, where no one is forced to wait in the dark or miss work because the system failed them.
That's right.
Where the buses and trains are free at the point of service. If New York City can do it, so can we. So, to our elected officials, I urge you to get back to work. Pass the transit rescue bill. Show us that public input means something. And to our neighbors, don't lose hope. This fight isn't over. Let's build a system our people deserve, one that shows up just like we do. Thank you so much.